Hey, Codem family. Today is a special treat because we're talking to the 2026 Woman of the Year, Erica Acie. Erica, how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you? So good to see you.
I am good. I am good. This is a special occasion because typically every year we do our women's issue to commemorate Mother's Day, but we bumped it up this year due to our Man of the Year success, and we wanted to introduce the country to our Woman of the Year, and you are the first. So,
I am
congratulations.
extremely honored. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Now we've known each other for about 4 or 5 years. We met at the
Hmm.
John Hope Conference down in Atlanta, and you've just turned into an incredible friend. I know a little bit about you, but I want to share who you are to our listeners in the podcast. So Erica is the head of originations for Truist Bank, and I have to tell you, Erica, I don't know how Truist came up with uh, your charter, your brand, and how you guys just seem to attack the community from such a positive position. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you do?
Sure, I would love to. And first of all, again, thank you for the honor. Greatly appreciate it. I am wise enough to know that no one gets anywhere alone. And so I know that this is about the Woman of the Year, but there are so many women that contribute to our communities. And just a huge shout out to them and a thank you, as well as our men, because we couldn't do what we do without you. And so Truist is such a vibrant organization wrapped around its purpose. And our purpose is to inspire and build better lives in communities. And you see a lot of companies that kind of have their slogan. But for us, it's not about a slogan, it's about our North Star. And we truly embrace knowing our roots came from the community to reinvest in our community, and we live and breathe it every day. And so for us, it's personal. And when you see teammates across Truist, you usually see us in purple. You see me in purple today because we really do
Right.
believe in what we do. It's a passion. Truly, it's a passion. We love it.
Yo, and I can tell, Erica, and you have to feel lucky to work for an organization that has purpose because I think a lot of people work for companies and they're a little confused as okay, what's the mission? I don't feel what we're doing, but I tell you, listen, I've been to many Truist functions. I've seen Truist at different events. You guys literally live in your purpose of giving back and helping to advance the agenda of the American consumer. For you as head of originations, helping people kind of acquire the American dream, what do you do to facilitate that?
So it was really important to me to structure my organization in the way that truly motivates and allows us to execute around our purpose. And so we have loan officers spread across the geography, but we also have our homeownership equity program where we have business development leaders who partner with our loan officers and leaders to really drive impact in the community. So, what that looks like is partnering with our nonprofit organizations. It looks like being embedded in the community, understanding what's happening, and also providing education. Financial Literacy Month is this month, it's in April.
Okay.
And so we make sure that we are out spreading the word. We do home ownership workshops. We educate because education is power, right? John Hope Bryant talks
Yes,
about
it
that all
is.
the time. If families understand what they need to do, if they understand their credit, if they understand how to budget, how to finance, they understand how to achieve the dream of homeownership. And that really is the intersection of generational wealth, right? And really trying to close that gap. So we are insane about that. So if you think about my team, we serve all communities, right? All communities. I want to make that very clear. But we absolutely have a strategy where we zone into our underserved communities as well. And that's near and dear to my heart. So, as you mentioned, I've been in this industry for
Mhm.
some time. And I will share with you that I feel tremendously blessed because I understood my purpose very early on in life. And so, when I was younger, my mother used to work in banks. And she used to take me with her to clean late at night. My mother had 3 jobs. She worked really hard. And so I grew up watching that, right? So that's one piece of it. But the
Right.
more important piece is when we bought our first home, I couldn't even believe it was happening. I said, oh my goodness, like this is our house. I'll never forget. And this keeps me grounded. I will never forget walking into my room and saying, Mom, is this real? This is my room. And she said, yes. And I said, well, how did we get this house? And she said, well, the bank gave me a loan. So this is our house. And I will never forget
Right.
that feeling. I felt so safe, like for the first time. And I think most of us remember our first home. We remember where we grew up, right? Like that's near and dear to us because what it kind of symbolizes is safety, stability. And so my purpose was early on. I knew that I wanted other people to realize that same feeling as well. And so I tell you, like, I live a dream. I truly do. This is near and dear to my heart. For a lot of people, it's just, oh, we went and bought a house. But understand what that means to a family. Like if you keep that near and dear to your heart, you fight for it. And my team does that every
Yeah.
day. We don't look at a transaction, we look at a family. And that makes a difference. When you have people serving you that understand that, it's a deeper connection and it builds strong relationships. And that's truly what we're all about is building the relationship and helping people with all of their financial needs. But the house, the home is the biggest financial transaction that someone's going to do generally in a lifetime.
I'm sitting here listening to you, and I remember, one of our first homes, and I was a child. It felt like a mansion, Erica. And, the community, the friends on the street, we felt so blessed and we felt rich. And I agree with you, living in that house and being able to ride our bikes up and down the street, and then,
Yes.
just the neighbors, the subdivision, you're right. It literally created the foundation that my family stood on. And it's important. And I was listening to you talk about, who you help, right? And I know Generation Z right now probably needs the most help because they're up and coming. Incomes haven't caught up with with what they aspire to be. Home prices have increased. So when you take a look at Gen Z, what is your approach to helping them find that first starter house?
Yeah, really, the very first thing is education, helping them understand what
Okay.
products are available. Because a lot of consumers, especially that generation, they just make the assumption they have to put 20% down, right? And so they kind of put the dream on the shelf because they don't have savings, many, right? And so if they don't have that gift from a parent to help them with their down payment, there are other options. There are down payment assistance programs. Most of them are state specific in terms of how much. Many of the programs will forgive that grant that they receive as well. We also have a program that's 100% financing. And so it's just really important to understand what can be offered, understand the products and what you're looking for. But let us help, right? Like you don't have to have all of the answers. And I know many consumers right now,
Okay.
they'll jump on Chat GPT, they'll, put their information into Gemini, but trust and believe that human intelligence is so critical and we're here to help consumers have a plan. So if I was going to give advice, the best advice that I could give is reach out, make the connection, and we will help you develop a plan so that your dream becomes a reality. That's so key because there are so
We're
many
going to
options
put your,
available.
yeah, we're going to put your information in the body of this podcast. So if somebody wants to reach out, there will be a link there that you can click on as you're listening to this, because I love what you're saying about the fact that you guys are offering help, zero down, the education that you can provide. So if you're listening to this, please like the podcast and join our channel, and then click on a link to then get the assistance that you need. So if we provide that link, Erica, can somebody then communicate with one of your originators and then set up an appointment?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're here to help.
Okay.
And there are specific guidelines around each of the products, right? And so when we
Okay.
look at 100% financing, we have a specific product. And so we want to talk to people to see, do you qualify? We look at the minority majority census tracts, right? And we have products aligned to those census tracts. And so just don't assume. The whole point is get educated, reach out, and let us, the experts, help you with a plan.
Nice. Okay, so let's talk about you a little bit, Erica, as Woman of the Year. So, where do you reside? Where did you grow up?
So, interestingly enough, I currently reside in Atlanta, Georgia, one of the best places, of course. But I've lived in 5 states, and so I grew up in Columbus, Ohio. Yes, you heard me right,
Hey, okay.
Ohio, Ohio,
All
Ohio.
right. All right.
Some of the best people come out
Okay.
of
I knew he
Ohio.
liked you for a reason. There it is. There it is.
And, I've also
Okay.
lived in Dallas, Pittsburgh, and spent most of my career in Florida, St. Augustine to be more specific,
Okay. Nice.
and Pennsylvania, if I didn't mention that.
Very nice. Very nice. That's awesome. And then did you go to college for mortgage originations? Where did you go?
Now, interestingly enough, I'm so glad you asked that question, because I went to Ashford University, finished my MBA there, and I worked at the same
Okay.
time, right? And so people take a lot of different paths, but that was mine. And so that's a message to people everywhere. And I'm really going to speak to my women as well. Lean into your passion, right? Don't get caught up in all of the exteriors around your path. Doesn't matter how you get there. What matters is that you got there, right? Like that is
Okay.
so super critical from my perspective. Um, so yeah, ask the question again. I started going down a path and trying to motivate women, like focused on career.
I just wanted to know, where did you go to school? What did you study in college?
Thank you. So I studied business administration. So for
Okay.
mortgage banking, mortgage lending, there isn't a specific certification or a degree. So you can get a finance degree, very helpful. But the reason why I jumped on that question and then got distracted going down a different path because I love motivating women is that we are trying very hard now to create curriculums in universities and colleges around homeownership, what that looks like. And
Okay.
so I've actually taught a class at Cleveland University, and we partner with the Mortgage Banking Association to do more of that. Really critical work,
Really?
because consumers
Wow.
just don't understand it. And it is a complex business, but it doesn't have to be so complex, right? So the more that we can educate, because we don't do a lot of financial literacy in middle school or even in high school, that trend is starting across our country because more and more people are understanding how critical it is. But I think, the MBA is really leading the way in that space. And
Okay.
anytime that we can volunteer, we do, because I certainly understand the magnitude and the power of knowledge around home ownership. So yes, so finance, business administration, again, we all have different paths, and nobody really wakes up or they're not really in high school or even in college going, I want to go into mortgage banking. If you ask most of the
Right.
people in this industry how they got here, generally their answer is by accident. And I truly do mean that, right? Unless you just like me, just have that passion and desire around homeownership, a lot of folks get into this business one way, shape, or form, and they're addicted to it. So if you look at the tenure of my team, my organization, you're looking at 20 years plus because it's always changing, it's always evolving. You never get bored, and it's so
Right.
fulfilling once you're in it. So long answer, but it is a very rewarding industry to be in.
So let's talk a little bit about team. I know Truist is in 17 states, but if I live in a state where Truist is not, can I still get a mortgage loan through Truist?
Absolutely. Yes, you can. So just because we don't
Okay.
have brick and
Okay.
mortar, we do have digital commerce, right? And so absolutely don't let that stop you. I mean, think about how we do business today. How often do you go to your local branch, right?
Right.
Sometimes you do,
Right.
but I would assume
Yes.
you do a lot of banking online, and we're here to support those consumers as well.
That's incredible. I love everything you're saying because I do agree with you. Financial literacy, the path to home ownership starts well before you decide to want a home. It starts in preparation, credit, down payment, understanding FICO score, what your budget is. Because, the surprise of home ownership is just not owning the home, it's the maintenance. It's the making sure that you can afford, the property taxes and things like that. And so, is that some of the stuff you provide when you do the training?
Yes, absolutely. So the exciting part is getting in the home, right? We all know that warm feeling
Right.
that you get,
Right.
you own the property. But that education is critical. And so we don't want to just put consumers in homes. We want to keep consumers in homes. And so we're here before you
Right.
purchase the home, and we're here after you purchase the home as well. And so that education is ongoing, and we're always here as advisors. We want to be the trusted advisor. And so, to your point, when we do financial literacy training, I mean, we're even getting deep down into all of the little expenses that you're going to have. So, do you have that savings account? Just in case, that just in case account, we'll call it. Because again, we want to make sure that that budget is strong and that we're really thinking about everything for our clients and that we're educating in a way that sustains them through homeownership, not just getting into the home,
Right.
but staying in the home.
Right. Right. So, Erica, every time we're chatting, you're on a plane, getting off a plane. I know you're always going around the country speaking. What is the best part of your job? Is it being able to connect and touch people, at an intimate level and sit down with them and talk to them about originations? What's the most fun part of your job?
I think for me, it is motivating and educating and uplifting people. That's where I get my
Okay.
fulfillment, right? And helping people be the best versions of themselves. Like to me, I get so excited about that. When a light bulb goes off, when I see that someone made a dream come true and like just watch them light up, like that's so exciting to me. When I help the team solve complex problems, like we all are a team. Like there's no hierarchy in my organization. Like we're all in it together. And we are
Okay.
figuring out ways to strengthen our communities together. To me, that's exciting. Like, what's the next problem we got to solve? I'm in. Let's figure it out. What's our problem statement? How
Right.
are we going to attack this? What's our strategy? In all honesty, that's what really gets me excited is the impact. That's what I wake up
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
every single day. What impact am I going to have on someone today? That's it. It's pretty simple
Now,
for
let's
me.
talk. I love that. It's nice to be in a home. It's nice to feel the warmth of home, and it's nice to have your children feel the safety of home, right?
Mhm.
So I agree with everything you're saying. So 2026, what are the home trends? What do mortgages look like? What can people expect if they're in the market over the next 6 months to purchase a home? I think we're seeing prices come down a little bit. What do you say to that?
Well, I say it's a very interesting time because of the global economics, right? And what's happening
Okay.
globally. So if you think about the war that's ongoing right now, that has a direct impact on interest rates. And generally, if we're in conflict or there is conflict occurring, you tend to see interest rates come down, right? If you think about,
Okay.
history, that's what we've seen, but this is unique and different in that there's oil involved. And so as a result of that, what we've seen is actually the interest rates kind of go up a little bit and they're toggling. And so I always like to tell people marry the house and date the rate, right? Because if you're sitting on the sidelines and you're so concerned about the rates, you're never going to make a move. Rates adjust,
Dang, that is powerful. Can you
right?
just say
They
that one more
adjust.
time? Date the house. Well, I'm sorry.
Marry
You
the
said marry
house
the
and
house,
date
date
the
to.
rate. Yes.
Okay, I need you to go in a little bit more detail because that is so powerful. Um, but that information is it's incredible. So you're saying find the house you want, the rate can change. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. So you find that dream home that you want, and you really love this house. Do you really want to sit on the sidelines and potentially lose out? Do you want that house to go to another
Wow.
buyer? Likely not. You want to marry that house,
Okay.
but you're dating the rate because you can always refinance and get a lower rate depending upon what's happening in the economy. Rates change all of the time. You can also start out with an adjustable rate mortgage as well versus a fixed rate. So there
Okay.
are options. And this, again, is why I say let us be the expert and advise you based on your specific scenario, right? Because you can't paint a broad
Okay.
brush, but don't lose your dream home, the one that you want, because you can always refinance and change the rate based on what's occurring in the economy. So I'll say it one last time for you:
Wow.
marry the house and date the rate.
I love it. Love it. Love it. That is such good information because I think it will free people who are on the fence. You know, do I continue renting my condo or do we go ahead and get a home? I think you literally just gave some people permission out there to go ahead and pursue the next steps of getting the home. And then you're partnering with people because you're saying we will educate you through the process. And I know about NACA, and I think NACA is across the country, but you're right. There are state specific programs that people can go into to find down payment assistance. Now, does down payment still need to be seasoned, or can you explain a little bit about how down payments work?
Sure. So there are so many different types of down payment assistance programs, and states generally have guidelines, right? Some will forgive
Okay.
the down payment assistance, some will not. It just is so specific that you really need to check in with your loan officer and understand what's available in your specific state, because that's one area I can't paint a
Okay.
broad brush across. And the amounts of the down payment assistance are going to vary as well. And then you also have to see if it's applicable to the product that you're looking for in terms of qualifying for your transaction. And so I have literally seen some clients have 80 or $90,000 assistance in down payment. That's a lot, right? And I've seen some where it's
Wow. Right.
$10,000. But again, digging in and understanding what's available to you is key, and not making the assumption that you don't qualify, because oftentimes it's really dependent upon where the property is located. So lean on your trusted
Okay.
advisor to help
That's
you through
very
that.
okay. Now let's talk a little bit about debt to income ratio, right? And so I know your team probably will help with that. But before I get started, is debt to income ratio, is it still 27, in the front
The
and
30.
45 in
Hmm.
the back or okay.
Yeah.
And
Generally
so
speaking, that's the
you
case.
will help people understand debt to income ratio?
Absolutely. I mean, we walk them through each
Okay.
part of the process in terms of the tranches of the credit score and what that essentially means, right? Because those tranches
Okay.
align to the products and the pricing component. And so while it can sound overwhelming and very confusing, we really take the time and break that down for our clients to make sure that they're well aware, well informed, and they truly do understand the process. And I also would encourage anyone that has an application in process to purchase a
Hmm.
home, do not incur new debt. You want your debt to income ratio to
Okay.
remain the same from the time that you applied through closing of a home. And unfortunately, we try to educate and educate and educate. And unfortunately, we have seen situations where someone is in the middle of the process. They're so excited, ready to get this home, and they go out and purchase $20,000 of furniture, right? So
Right.
anything that's
Or they
going
get
to
the car.
impact your,
Yeah.
yes, or they get the car. That's another big one.
Or
So
they get
funny
the
you
car.
said that.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but you want to stay consistent throughout the entire transaction, because remember, what we're analyzing is your ability to repay. And as we talked about earlier in this conversation, We also are looking to make sure that you can sustain the payments. We want to ensure there's no payment shock. You're not going to close on the house and be in it for 3 to 4 months and start running into problems.
Right.
So we truly are looking
Right.
out for our
Right.
clients' best interest, and we do communicate all of those components right up front. But it's just an important message for people to take away. Stay consistent, understand your liabilities, how much debt you have. And, generally speaking, to your point, consumers are going to spend about 30% of their income on their home, generally
Right.
speaking. And so you want to make sure that you don't have a lot of
Okay.
other debt because your number one priority is your mortgage payment, where you rest your head every night. You
Wow.
want to make
All right,
sure that's
Erica.
secure.
So yes, yes. So do you have a story of one of your favorite people you've helped make the dream come true? That you were able to kind of take from, almost nothing to then home ownership. Do you have any stories out there of, dreams coming true?
Absolutely. And I will tell you, I have an amazing team. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today if it weren't for my team. So I give them all the credit in the world and all of the dreams that they help make come
Okay.
true. There's so many success stories. And what we're really interested in is the success systems underneath those success stories so that we can magnitude the wins for our clients. But I recall when I was a loan officer, kind of coming up in this business, I had a client, she had 3 children, and she just was curious. She really didn't think it was possible. In fact, I would say that she was pretty pessimistic, but something told her, let me just keep going and try to figure it out. And at this time, I
Okay.
was in Florida, and she was able to get a SHIP loan, which was a down payment assistance program grant that she was able to obtain. And she qualified. I educated her early on, explained to her exactly what she needed to do. We also needed to run through some traditional credit, meaning she didn't have credit cards to really show her ability to repay the debts, but she had her rent. She had her electricity bill and some other trade lines that we could create to show that she could repay this debt. And her down payment assistance, along with just a little bit of money that she had. And if memory serves me right, I think she only had like a few $1,000s, so very little. And
Okay.
when we closed on that property, I went to the closing with her. She still didn't believe it was real. But when those keys, and she's
I
signing all the
bet.
papers, and anybody who's bought a home, you're going to sign about this much paperwork. So hopefully we reduce that with technology here. But
Right.
when
Right.
I know
Right.
it's
Right. Right.
crazy. But when she got those keys, she cried so much and just hugged my neck like you wouldn't believe. And so, because she was crying so hard,
Wow.
her children started crying because they didn't understand what was going on. They just knew mom was, very
The impact.
emotional.
Right.
The
Right.
impact. And for me, my subconscious memory went right back to that little girl walking into her room for the first time and saying, "Mom, this is really my
Mm.
room." That's what I felt in my heart. And so when I tell you that my passion for this business is real, there's nothing like it. Like, I feel like the most blessed woman in the world that I get to do this every day. It's tremendous work because
Wow.
it is the foundation of our country, it's the foundation of family. For me, there's nothing better.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. And, we commend you as our first 2026 Woman of the Year. I'm very proud of you. I'm excited to be able to bestow this honor upon you, my friend.
Thank you.
You deserve it. You work for a fantastic organization. I've met your team and I know you sing their praise. I couldn't agree with you more. Our conference calls are always full of fun, laughter, but they're purposeful,
Yes.
meaningful. And so, you're just doing a fantastic job, Erica, and I really appreciate, the effort you're putting into life and yourself and your family. And I even tease Erica about her golf game, and she said her putter is powerful, right, Erica?
That's right.
The putter
I'm
is
the
on
best.
point. Is that what you said?
It is totally on point. Let me
Right,
do a scramble with
right,
anybody. I'll show you.
right, right, right. You say I'm okay on the tee, but I'm coming in, right? You're using my putt if we're doing best ball, huh?
That's right. Let me be the secret weapon. I'll come in and get it done.
Outstanding. 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 Well, listen, I know we promised you a half an hour. And again, we will put your link in the bio of the podcast. And I really do hope that somebody chooses to click, at least go through the process and find out what you need. Some people are ready, some people need to get ready, but what you need is information.
That's right.
And
And we're here
Erica's
to
team
help.
can provide that information, home ownership. Yes, 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 yes. And so I'm excited for anybody who decides to take you up on your offer to click through and then speak to one of your team members. And so, again, I congratulate you on being our 2026 Woman of the Year. And with that, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay.